Hey, good Tuesday evening, everyone. State Representative Brad Halbrook with the Illinois Freedom Caucus team, Dan Calkins, Representative David Freese, and State Director Colin Mosley, as we bring you another edition of our Tuesday night roundtable. And hopefully we are live and in demand for future replay, and share and like and follow and subscribe as always. So with that, gentlemen, welcome to the roundtable. What's going on, Dan Calkins?
Well, fortunately, last week we had some big storms rip through here. Well, watching a little bit of the convention.
Exactly. And Representative Freese, Southwestern Illinois, what's going on in your neighborhood?
Well, we had a little rain this morning, which is nice. I think the farmers appreciate that, timely, as long as we don't get washed out. And hopefully the weather's going to turn. It's been 90 degrees plus and 100% humidity, absolutely miserable if you're outside. Right. So we're going to get some cooler weather after the rain, which I think everybody's looking forward to.
Right, exactly. And State Director Colin Mosley, give us an update. What have you been working on? And then we'll get into this week's agronomic report, and then we'll get right into our slides. So with that.
Well, same as David, it's nice to be a little cooler, a little more damp here. We're getting ready here in Clay County for our county fair next week. So animals will start rolling into the livestock barns probably tomorrow. Campers will start showing up. And so we're in for a wild ride the next week and a half for the Clay County Fair.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had significant rainfall in the previous 24 hours. I know there was some winds around. I don't know that all the reports are in yet, but I think north and east in Illinois and maybe northern Indiana suffered some damage. But wow, we had 3 inches of rain here in the past 24 hours, which adds on to the 4 inches that we got early in July there by the 4th of July. So crops are at a crucial point, and I think it's going to be really, really helpful. It should make lots of bushels at this point. Prices are falling apart, but it looks like we're going to have a lot of grain if we can get it to the bin at this point. So it's got great prospects. And that concludes today's agronomic report. So with that, gentlemen, let's get into our slides and see if we can make the technology work here. I'm going to make one other adjustment. Let's try that. Okay. I don't know if I like that either. Let's go back to this. So with that, there we go. Let's try that. So tonight we are going to talk about the shot that was almost, the attempted shot. The almost assassination attempt on Donald Trump Saturday afternoon, and an update from Milwaukee. So with that, let's see if I can make this work to get to our next slide. And Colin, it may be up to you. There we go. Saturday night, I was on the way to a parade. I don't know, gentlemen, I started getting text messages. I'm sure you were all a part of that loop. Unbelievable happening Saturday night in Western PA.
Yeah, I was actually outside doing some yard work, and my son came running out and said, "Hey, Trump's been shot." I said, "What?" And he said a buddy his found out via Instagram or something, and I was like, "That cannot be true." I just could not believe it. Obviously went in, turned the news on, and yeah, sure enough, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Right.
Well, just the idea that, I mean, there we go. Just the idea that one slight head turn saved his life. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was walking into a restaurant. I had a class reunion Saturday night, and they had it on the TV, and I'm walking by the TV as the shots went, pop, pop, pop. And I stopped and I looked. I'm like, is this really happening? And you see him get up with blood coming down his ear, and just a sort of a third world picture on the TV. It was just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Sure was. Dan, any comments?
Well, we're watching now the after action reviews and what's going on. There's a lot of things that are happening. I know yesterday. Earlier today, I guess, they're starting to show some footage, cell phone footage 68 seconds before the first shot was fired, people on the ground were pointing out this guy. So there was an attempt to stop this by people on the ground. I think some of the reports that are coming out is that the incompatibility of the communications between the local PD and the Secret Service. Secret Service had tasked the local law enforcement folks to kind of control outside of that immediate perimeter. And there were police officers, but I don't think they had any way to talk directly to the Secret Service to report, anything that they found. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a real tough situation for the United States Secret Service, not expanding, their reach, not securing outside of the immediate perimeter. No drone. Why would you not have a drone in the air? I mean,
Dan, that was my immediate reaction. I said, why the heck don't they have a drone up? I mean, you can get a drone relatively, in the big scheme of things, relatively inexpensive. And it takes one person to man it, and you could circle, the entire perimeter and beyond it continuously, and, have eyes in the sky during the entire event. Why that wasn't done for Trump is a real question as to what was going on and why.
Yeah, it leaves a lot of room for conspiracy, which is the last thing the Democrats need right now. And honestly, if there's anyone that should be thankful that Donald Trump survived this attack, it's the Democrats, because nobody in the world would have believed them if he would have been killed, that it wasn't them. I mean, how many times does history have to repeat itself, before people no longer believe anybody? But to the point about, the drones and the Overwatch, I mean, I've been to events, even smaller scale events, where they had multiple drones flying a path. There's no excuse, especially, we're not talking about some long range, American sniper 500-meter shot. I mean, this guy was basically field goal to field goal,
right,
from the former president of the United States with a rifle on a white roof. And, Overwatch. And of course, then you have the rumors as well that the sniper asked for clearance to fire and was waiting for confirmation. And to the point about communications, I mean, just in my, the time that I spend in law enforcement part-time, I mean, I know that communications are difficult, but that's why you have a command center. My radio may not talk to Secret Service, but it's going to go to a guy in the command center that's going to holler at their team, and that happens within seconds. Mm-hmm. There's certainly no excuse for a minute and a half to go by.
Yeah.
So just a complete and utter failure. And I think that, Joe Biden can't secure the border, and his Secret Service can't secure a rally. And I mean, it just is what it is. But we've come to a complete point of utter incompetence.
Right. Yeah, gentlemen, one of the YouTube guys that I watch, Mike Morgan, has a place in Western PA. He lives 15 minutes from the site, but he had great great video of the site that afternoon. He went there and he had some aerial photos and he laid it out. I mean, this guy was closer than some of the spectators that had went through the security checks to get into the grounds. And why this perimeter wasn't more secured and the many other things, I guess we'll find out in the coming days and weeks and months here. But just stunning.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some answers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, so here we go. I guess we've kind of touched on a few of these things. So, I guess this bottom bullet point here, gun laws aren't going to fix this problem. We continue to see hundreds of millions of dollars that are being released, state and private money in Chicago for violence prevention. Guys, I don't think until we have a change of hearts and minds, none of this money, none of these laws are going to make any difference. I'll just throw it out for a little discussion there.
No, Brad, I think you're 100% on point on this. And I tell when I'm debating or discussing Second Amendment and gun laws, I tell people there are probably more guns per capita in my district than in Cook County. I mean, I know people with over 100 guns. That's an individual, not a dealer. I guarantee it, they've got ammo for every firearm that they own. and they don't go around shooting people. Well,
Right.
why? Because they of the way they were raised, brought up, and my guess is they probably have a church they're affiliated with too.
Right.
So no law is going to, in my mind, is going to fix this. We need to bring the family back, bring God back. We really need to do that.
Right. Yeah, just because the temperatures go up and people start moving around outside, the murder rate in Shelby County or Effingham County or Clay County or Christian County, none of those murder rates go up.
No.
Just because the temperatures go up. I mean, people are respectful, on and on and on. Yeah. And so it just has a different fiber to it, I guess. But yeah.
Well, the other thing, I mean, there's two things really quick. Number one, to the earlier points, the Democrats don't ever seem to want to take accountability for the fact that they destroyed quality education and economic opportunity, which leaves a lot of room for people to start committing crimes to think they have to survive that way.
Right.
And they take no accountability for that. The other thing is the reason, these places have the strictest gun regulations and restrictions of anywhere.
Oh, so true.
And have the highest crime rates.
Mm-hmm.
And here where we live, the reason why we don't have these things, I mean, we have maybe one homicide every couple of years in Clay County. The reason why is because everyone knows that someone's probably packing one of these. That's why no one does that.
And seeing that's why we have a civil conversation on this little round table every week. All right. Let's see what our next slide is here. Probably going to talk about the RNC convention. And yeah, I thought my internet was in better shape than it was. And there we go. Now we go. And so we have the chairman of the Illinois Freedom Caucus, Chris Miller, and his wife, Congresswoman Mary Miller, is live there. And we was hoping to have Representative Leader Chairman Miller on this morning, but he is kind of tied up with what's going on. I'm sure they got a busy 3 or 4 days in Milwaukee. And hopefully y'all got to see. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we've had the privilege of watching, from home the last. That's some. I can't be. I'm sure as emotional and energy packed as. It's interesting to watch things that come forward, that are being presented. This convention is, the talking heads have said, this is Donald Trump's convention. The campaign that we're going to see the next several months, and played out well. People that are being shown on TV are supportive of these things. It was interesting. I think it's going to be somewhat controversial. It was interesting. Head of the Teamsters addressed the convention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of strange, but yet each of the Republicans, working men and women of this country. I know here in Illinois, to let people know who is actually working. It's not the Democrat Party anymore. They're the elites, big, huge tech industry and entertainment industry. And I think this country are not party anymore, and there's a group of folks, the conservative, are actually care about jobs, safety, the family, taxes for the average working person, and that's what we're seeing at this convention.
Yeah, if you belong to a union, your gas prices are going up, your grocery bill's going up. If you're a newcomer to a trade, It's harder to get a mortgage. Cost of living across the board is going up, and union members are not exempt. So they're feeling it, and I think they'll hopefully blame the party that is the cause of all this, and that's the Democrat Party.
Right.
Yeah, and their kids aren't getting a good education either, David. I mean,
true, right?
So their children's future,
right?
And that's over the next 4 or 5 months.
Right. Yep.
Well, hopefully 12 years.
Right. Right. Hey, gentlemen, so you'll be able to catch. Yeah, well, you're just a young guy, Dan. You got a lot of time to watch all this unfold over the next. So anyhow, hey, we're going to take our show on the road again in August. Going to be in kind of northwestern Illinois, Carroll Stream on the 6th, and Will County on the 13th. Colin, I believe these are going to be like probably a 6 p.m. start time.
Yeah, I believe so. Either 5:30 or 5:30 in Will County, I think, when doors open, and then Carroll Stream will be at 6 p.m. So
okay, good. And to that point, when the details become official, they can find us on our website and Substack. I want to subscribe to that. Colin, anything you want to say about that?
It's a good place to get your information from.
Exactly. So with that, any closing comments? And real quickly, as we wrap this up, and appreciate everybody taking time to join in. Representative Freeze.
Yeah, just very grateful and thankful that Trump survived. I mean, it's very scary. Cannot imagine.
Exactly. Dan? I'm not sure Dan survived.
Well, I think history will show. Am I okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Well, close we came to absolute last Saturday, and I'm very hopeful that the United States are going to recognize the need for action, and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, an amazing leader of the Republican Party, will be elected.
Exactly. Colin, closing thought.
It took Joe Biden longer to respond to this shooting, this attempt on President Trump's life, than it did for him to call out January 6th as being on Donald Trump's lap. And I think that says a lot. There's been no accountability taken for their hateful rhetoric of him, but yet, J6 is all his fault. So it's just hypocrisy. Mm-hmm. And I think all it does is fuel us to move forward and win in November.
Right, exactly. Well, guys, I think we're at a crucial moment in history. I think it's a very galvanizing moment in time. I think we all saw the spirit and literally the fight in President Trump as the Secret Service was trying to get him off the stage. He was putting a fist bump in the air and saying fight. And as they were stuffing him in the vehicle, he's still wanting to, be with the crowd. They were with him and he was with them. And I think we see that spirit. And, guys, you've heard me say this before live and on this live stream. Citizenship is not a spectator sport, and we've got to join this fight. Now is our time. We've got just really a few months here just to get this deal done and to turn this country around, or it's going to be even more of the same. And with that, I think we're going to close out. Again, we always appreciate you joining us and sharing and liking and subscribe and following to our content. And with that, until next time, we'll talk soon.
Take care, guys.